Earth had remained independent from the Halaxian Galactic Empire for centuries. While most worlds across the galaxy submitted to Imperial rule, Earth stood apart, developing its own technologies and cultural identity in relative isolation. Captain Alan Wright sat in the command chair of the EDF Defender, Earth's most advanced patrol vessel. His bright blue eyes scanned the holographic displays surrounding him, showing the vast emptiness of space near Pluto's orbit. The ship hummed quietly around him, a testament to Earth's engineering prowess. "Captain, we've detected unusual energy signatures," said Lieutenant Olivia Reed, her voice breaking the silence on the bridge. "Pattern matches Imperial scout ships." Alan leaned forward. "How many?" "3 vessels, sir. They're not trying to hide their approach." This wasn't the first time Imperial ships had ventured close to Sol system, but they rarely came in groups. Alan tapped his communication panel. "Notify Earth Command immediately. Send them all sensor data." Within hours, the news had reached every corner of Earth's government. In the Central Defense Building in Geneva, the World Council gathered for an emergency session. Representatives from all nations sat around a circular table beneath a domed ceiling painted with scenes from human history. "This is clearly a provocation," said Councillor Maria Johnson, her dark hair pulled back tightly. "The Empire has been testing our boundaries for years. We should wait to see their intentions." Councillor Daniel Lee countered, adjusting his glasses. "Perhaps they merely seek trade negotiations." Admiral Samuel Green stood up, his weathered face grim. "Our intelligence suggests otherwise. The Empire has been systematically absorbing independent systems along our sector. We may be next on their list." After heated debate, the Council reached a unanimous decision. Earth would issue a formal warning. All Imperial vessels were forbidden from entering Earth's territory. The message was transmitted on all frequencies in multiple languages, including the Empire's official dialect. In the vast Imperial palace on Halaxis Prime, Emperor Zortac received the message. His scaled skin shimmered under the light of 3 suns streaming through massive windows. Surrounded by advisors and military officers, the reptilian ruler laughed. "These humans think they can deny the Empire." Zortac's voice rumbled through the chamber. "Their world is but a speck, their technology primitive." High General Kexar, decorated with medals from 100 conquered worlds, bowed slightly. "My Emperor, our scouts report unusual defensive capabilities around Earth. Perhaps we should proceed with caution." "Caution." Zortac rose from his throne, towering over his subordinates. "The Empire does not proceed with caution. We proceed with certainty. The humans will join our collective, willingly or not." Back on Earth, preparations accelerated. Hidden defense platforms around the planet powered up for the first time in decades. Military bases on the far side of the moon increased alert status. Civilian ships were recalled to Earth orbit. In his quarters aboard the Defender, Captain Wright studied the Imperial ship's approach trajectory. The scouts had not changed course after receiving Earth's warning. If anything, they had increased speed. His communication panel chimed. It was Admiral Green from Earth Command. "Captain Wright, you are authorized to intercept the Imperial scouts at Jupiter's orbit. Show our capabilities, but avoid direct conflict if possible." "Understood, Admiral." Alan straightened his uniform and prepared to return to the bridge. As the Defender moved into position, more disturbing news arrived. Long-range sensors detected a much larger Imperial force gathering just beyond Neptune's orbit. This wasn't merely a scouting mission. It was the vanguard of an invasion fleet. Alan called the crew to battle stations. "The Empire thinks we're just another world to conquer," he told his officers. "They're about to learn why Earth has remained free all these centuries." The lights on the Defender dimmed as power diverted to weapons and shields. Ahead, the Imperial scouts continued their approach, unaware that they faced not a primitive world, but a civilization that had prepared for this moment for generations. Earth's stand against the Halaxian Empire had begun. Commander Susan Miller stood on the observation deck of Earth's orbital diplomatic station. Through the reinforced glass, she watched as the Imperial shuttle approached, its hull decorated with the golden symbols of the Halaxian Empire. Her team of 5 diplomats waited behind her, each chosen for their expertise in interstellar relations. "They're requesting docking clearance," said Greg Nelson, her communications officer. Susan nodded. "Granted. Let's see what they have to say before things escalate further." The Earth Defense Fleet had successfully intercepted the Imperial scouts at Jupiter. Captain Wright had demonstrated Earth's defensive capabilities by disabling one scout ship's engines with a precision shot, a warning that Earth wasn't defenseless. The larger Imperial fleet had paused its advance, and this diplomatic meeting was the result. The airlock hissed open. High Admiral Vexor entered the station, flanked by 4 Imperial guards. The Admiral was tall, nearly 7 feet, with iridescent scales covering his face and hands. His uniform bore countless medals and insignia of conquest. "Welcome to Earth space, Admiral," Susan said, stepping forward with a small bow. "I am Commander Susan Miller, representing the United Nations of Earth." Vexor did not return the gesture. "I am not here for pleasantries, human. I am here to accept your world's submission to the Halaxian Empire." Susan maintained her composure. "I'm afraid there's been a misunderstanding. We invited you here to establish peaceful relations between our independent systems." The Admiral's eyes narrowed. "There is no misunderstanding. The Emperor has decreed that Earth will join the Empire. Resistance is unnecessary," Susan interrupted. "Earth has maintained its independence for centuries. We have no interest in becoming part of your empire, but we are open to trade, cultural exchange, and mutual defense agreements." Vexor circled the room slowly, studying the Earth diplomats. "Your species has potential. That is why the Emperor offers you the privilege of Imperial citizenship. Your technology, resources, and people will serve a greater purpose under our guidance." "We already serve a purpose of our own choosing," Susan replied. "Earth's people determine their own destiny." The Admiral's patience visibly thinned. "You mistake this for a negotiation. It is not. Earth will submit, or Earth will be subjugated. You have 48 hours to reconsider your position." After the Imperial delegation departed, Susan immediately contacted Earth. Within hours, the World Council convened again, this time with military leaders present. "The Empire clearly intends to absorb us, with or without our consent," Susan reported to the assembled leaders. Admiral Green displayed a holographic map showing the Imperial fleet's position. "They have 23 warships beyond Neptune, with more likely on the way. This is their standard conquest formation." "What about our allies in the Proxima system?" asked Counselor Johnson. "They've promised support, but they're 3 days away at best," replied Admiral Green. President Laura Caldwell, who had remained silent until now, stood up. Her presence commanded immediate attention. "Throughout human history, we have faced those who wish to conquer us. We have always prevailed because we stand united when threatened." She turned to Admiral Green. "Activate all defense systems. Deploy the fleet to defensive positions." "And the diplomatic response?" Susan asked. "Tell Admiral Vexor that Earth's answer remains unchanged. We will not submit, and we are prepared to defend our independence with every resource at our disposal." As Susan prepared to deliver Earth's response, she watched Earth's defense fleet moving into position from her station window. Sleek warships that had been hidden in asteroid bases and moon craters were now visible, forming a protective barrier around the planet. The Empire had clearly expected Earth to surrender without resistance. They were about to discover how badly they had misjudged humanity's resolve. Whatever came next, Earth would face it as it always had, standing firm against those who threatened its freedom. In the Grand War Chamber of the Imperial flagship, Galactic, Chief Intelligence Officer of the Halaxian Empire, presented his findings to the assembled command staff. His slender gray fingers manipulated the holographic display, showing rotating images of Earth's defense systems. "Our initial scans suggest the humans possess moderately advanced technology, but nothing that should concern us," Galactic explained, his voice soft yet carrying authority. Their orbital platforms appear to be armed with basic particle weapons and primitive shield generators. High Admiral Vexor studied the images with narrowed eyes. What of their fleet? We've identified approximately 30 combat vessels, Galactic replied. Most are concentrated near their moon. Their largest ships are comparable to our medium cruisers in size, though significantly less armed according to energy readings. And their planetary defenses? Minimal. We detect some ground-based missile systems and energy installations, but nothing that could threaten our capital ships. Galactic closed the holographic display. Based on our analysis, Earth should fall within 3 standard days once we begin full operations. Vexor nodded in satisfaction. Prepare the fleet. We move at dawn. Meanwhile, aboard the Earth Defense Station Orion, Lieutenant Paul Garcia monitored the long-range sensor array. His eyes widened as alerts flashed across his screen. Sir, I'm detecting multiple small objects entering Earth's atmosphere at various points, he called to his superior officer. Commander Ryan Butler moved quickly to his station. Show me. The screen displayed dozens of tiny metallic objects descending toward Earth. They were too small to be weapons or landing craft. They're probes, Ryan realized. The Empire is mapping our defense grid. He immediately opened a channel to Earth Command. This is Orion Station. Imperial probes have breached our outer perimeter. They're scanning our defenses. Request permission to activate countermeasures. At Earth Defense Headquarters in the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Catherine Wilson led a team of scientists who had been preparing for this moment. When the alert about Imperial probes reached her lab, she immediately activated her experimental system. Deploy the quantum scramblers, she ordered her team. Let's show the Empire exactly what we want them to see. Around the globe, hidden transmitters powered up, broadcasting carefully crafted false data. The Imperial probes would detect outdated defense systems, minimal fleet capabilities, and vulnerable population centers, all carefully orchestrated misinformation. Catherine called Earth Command. The deception net is active. Their probes are receiving our prepared data streams. They'll see what we want them to see. An easy target. What the Empire couldn't know was that Earth had been preparing for potential alien threats for over a century. Real defense installations were hidden in underground facilities, beneath ocean floors, and in stealth platforms that the Imperial scanners couldn't detect. Earth's most advanced ships remained concealed in dimensional pockets near Jupiter and Saturn, invisible to conventional detection methods. Aboard the Imperial flagship, Galactic received the probe data with growing confidence. The humans are even less prepared than we anticipated, he reported to Vexor. Their technology is at least a century behind our standards. Excellent, Vexor replied. We will offer them one more chance to surrender before we begin our attack. It would be preferable to preserve their infrastructure. As the Empire positioned its fleet for what they believed would be a swift conquest, Earth's true forces moved into their final positions. In underground command centers, officers reviewed battle plans. In hidden shipyards, final weapons systems came online. President Caldwell addressed the planet's military leadership from her secure bunker. The Empire believes us weak and unprepared. Their arrogance will be their downfall. We've spent generations preparing for this moment. She looked at the assembled officers on her screen. Let them come. Earth is ready. The Empire's vast warships moved forward, completely unaware they were advancing into a trap centuries in the making. The Imperial fleet moved into Earth's outer defense perimeter with supreme confidence. 7 massive battleships led the formation, flanked by smaller cruisers and frigates. From his command chair on the flagship Dominant Will, Admiral Vexor watched as Earth grew larger on the main view screen. Final chance for the humans, he announced. Send the surrender demand. The message was transmitted. Submit to the Empire or face immediate destruction. Earth's response came minutes later. Complete silence. Vexor smiled coldly. Begin the attack. Target their orbital platforms first. Imperial gunners locked onto Earth's visible defense stations, energy weapons charged, glowing with destructive potential. At Vexor's command, the first volley launched, brilliant beams of energy streaking toward Earth's seemingly primitive defenses. Then something unexpected happened. Just before impact, Earth's orbital platforms shimmered and disappeared. In their place, advanced battle stations materialized, their surfaces covered with weapon ports that immediately opened fire. "What is this?" Vexor demanded as warning alarms blared across his ship. Earth's response hit the Imperial fleet with devastating precision. Quantum-tipped missiles phased through Imperial shields, detonating against hull plating. Energy weapons unlike anything in Imperial records carved through the forward section of two cruisers. On the EDF Valiant, Major Frank Johnson directed Earth's counterattack. His ship, hidden until now by dimensional shifting technology, led a squadron of 12 advanced vessels against the Imperial left flank. "Target their propulsion systems and weapons arrays," Frank ordered. "Disable rather than destroy where possible." The Valiant's targeting systems locked onto the nearest Imperial cruiser. Weapons fired, striking with surgical precision. The Imperial ship's engines died, leaving it drifting helplessly. Across the battlefield, Earth's hidden fleet revealed itself. Ships emerged from dimensional pockets, from behind moons and asteroids, even from within Earth's upper atmosphere, where they had been concealed by advanced cloaking technology. Admiral Vexor stared in disbelief as his tactical display showed his fleet surrounded. Impossible. Their technology. It can't be this advanced. His weapons officer turned from his station, eyes wide with fear. "Admiral, we've lost contact with battle groups 2 and 4. Our shields are failing against their weapons." For the first time in his long career, Vexor felt genuine uncertainty. The humans had concealed their true capabilities perfectly. The battle was nothing like the easy victory his intelligence had promised. Back on the Valiant, Frank received new targeting data. Their flagship is attempting to regroup their forces, target their communications array but leave their engines intact. They may need a path to retreat. Earth's defense platforms now revealed their true power, creating a grid of overlapping fire that trapped Imperial ships between deadly crosshairs. One by one, Imperial vessels went dark or began emergency retreat procedures. In Earth's primary defense command center, President Caldwell watched the battle unfold with grim satisfaction. Beside her, Admiral Green provided commentary on the Imperial retreat. "They're falling back past lunar orbit," he reported. "2 of their capital ships are severely damaged. 3 are completely disabled." "And our losses?" the President asked. "Minimal. 2 defense platforms damaged, 1 scout ship lost." The dimensional shields performed beyond expectations. On the Imperial flagship, now retreating at maximum speed, Vexor faced the unthinkable task of reporting failure to Emperor Zortac. The communication system projected the Emperor's displeased face before him. "Explain yourself, Admiral," the Emperor demanded. "The humans. They deceived us," Vexor replied, struggling to maintain composure. "Their technology is far beyond what our intelligence suggested. They allowed us to see only what they wanted us to see." The Emperor's eyes narrowed dangerously. "You were defeated by primitives." "Not primitives, my Emperor. Their quantum weapons, their dimensional shielding. Some of it surpasses even our most advanced research." As the Imperial fleet limped away from Earth, Frank Johnson allowed himself a moment of relief. They had won the first battle, but he knew the war was far from over. "The Empire doesn't take defeat well," he told his crew. "They'll be back. And next time, they won't underestimate us." Emperor Zortac paced across his throne room, rage evident in every movement. Holographic displays showed the damaged Imperial ships limping back from Earth. His most trusted general stood silently, awaiting the outburst they knew was coming. "Unacceptable." Zortac finally roared, smashing his fist into a nearby console. "One primitive world defies the might of our empire. I will not tolerate this humiliation. Grand General Drakfor stepped forward, bowing low. "My Emperor, I request permission to lead the response force personally. I will bring 3 additional battle groups from the core systems." "Do it," Zortac commanded. "I want Earth's defenses crushed. Their leaders brought before me in chains. Their technology seized for Imperial use." Within days, Imperial reinforcements poured through faster than light corridors toward the Sol system. 24 capital ships, including the dreadnought Eternal Dominion, formed the largest attack force deployed in a decade. Earth was ready. As Imperial sensors detected unusual energy signatures near Mars, President Caldwell authorized the activation of Earth's full planetary defense network. Hidden bases across the solar system powered up systems that had remained dormant during the first engagement. On Mars, Colonel Jake Bennett supervised the activation of the massive cannon array buried beneath Olympus Mons. The ground rumbled as enormous doors slid open, revealing weapons platforms that had been concealed for decades. "Battery Alpha through Delta online," Jake reported to Earth Command. "Mars defense grid is operational." Similar reports came in from bases on the Moon, from stations hidden in the atmospheres of Jupiter and Saturn, and from asteroid facilities throughout the system. Earth had transformed the entire Sol system into an interlocking defensive position. Captain Amy Parker commanded the EDF Swift Justice, Earth's most advanced stealth destroyer. Her mission was perhaps the most dangerous of the coming battle: a direct strike on the Imperial flagship. "All hands to battle stations," Amy announced as her ship slipped into dimensional shift. "Our target is the Eternal Dominion. We hit their command center, disrupt their coordination, then extract before they can respond." The Swift Justice vanished from normal space, its advanced engines allowing it to navigate the boundary between dimensions where Imperial sensors couldn't detect it. As the Imperial fleet entered the Mars orbit zone, they encountered no immediate resistance. Grand General Drakfor viewed this as a sign of weakness. The humans expended their strength in the first engagement. He told his officers confidently, "They cannot stand against our full might." His confidence lasted exactly 3 minutes. The Mars defense grid activated, enormous energy beams lancing upward from the planet's surface. Simultaneously, hidden weapon platforms emerged from Jupiter's gaseous atmosphere, launching salvos of quantum missiles. "We're surrounded," an Imperial officer shouted as the tactical display filled with new enemy positions. Drakfor stared in disbelief. The humans had weaponized their entire system. Meanwhile, the Swift Justice emerged from dimensional space directly above the Eternal Dominion's command tower. Amy Parker gave the order to fire. Precision weapons struck the dreadnought's communication arrays and shield generators. "Direct hit," reported her weapons officer. "Their primary communications are down." Without central coordination, the Imperial attack faltered. Ships fired in all directions, some accidentally hitting their own allies in the confusion. Earth's quantum communications network remained uncompromised, allowing for perfectly synchronized defense across billions of miles. Ships and stations worked in harmony, each covering the other's vulnerabilities. In her command center, President Caldwell received updates from across the system. "The Imperial fleet is in disarray," Admiral Green reported. "Their formations are breaking. 3 of their capital ships are attempting to retreat." "And the Eternal Dominion?" she asked. "Heavily damaged. Captain Parker's strike was successful." For the first time, nearby star systems witnessed something unprecedented. The mighty Halaxian Empire in retreat from a single world. News spread quickly through subspace channels to other independent systems. As the Imperial fleet limped away for the second time, Amy Parker watched from her ship's bridge. "They'll be back," she said quietly. "But next time, they won't come as conquerors." "What will they come as?" her first officer asked. Amy smiled slightly. "As diplomats." In the Imperial capital on Halaxis Prime, an unprecedented debate raged within the Grand Council chambers. For the first time in centuries, military leaders openly questioned the wisdom of continued aggression. 2 fleets defeated, exclaimed Admiral Kexful, pounding the obsidian table. Billions in resources lost. And for what? One planet that refuses to submit. Grand General Drakfor, still nursing wounds from the Earth campaign, responded angrily. You suggest the Empire simply accept defeat, that we allow these humans to defy us. From the shadows at the far end of the chamber stepped a figure rarely seen in military discussions. Imperial Science Minister Krell, thin and tall even for a Halaxian, approached the center of the room. Perhaps, Krell said, his voice soft yet penetrating, there is another approach we have not considered. Emperor Zortac turned his massive chair toward the scientist. Speak then, Minister. The humans have demonstrated technology that in some areas exceeds our own. Rather than destroy them, we might learn from them. Krell activated a holographic display showing Earth's defense capabilities. I propose a diplomatic mission, not to demand surrender, but to establish relations. Murmurs filled the chamber. The concept of treating with a species as equals rather than subjects was foreign to Imperial doctrine. You would have us negotiate, as if they were our peers. Drakfor sputtered. I would have us survive and adapt, Krell replied calmly. The Empire has conquered 1,000 worlds, yes, but perhaps the next 1,000 will join us through different means. After hours of heated debate, Emperor Zortac made his decision. Minister Krell will lead a diplomatic delegation to Earth. The military will stand down for now. On Earth, news of the approaching Imperial diplomatic vessel caused cautious optimism. The World Council gathered to select a representative to meet with the Empire. We need someone who understands interspecies law, President Caldwell stated. Someone who can recognize traps in treaty language. Dr. William Hayes, Earth's foremost expert in extraterrestrial legal systems, was selected to lead the diplomatic team. A quiet, thoughtful man with graying hair and steady hands, William had spent decades studying galactic governance structures. Remember, President Caldwell told him before he departed for the orbital meeting station, "We seek peace, but not at the cost of our independence." William nodded solemnly. The Empire has never recognized another power as truly sovereign. This won't be easy. The meeting took place aboard a neutral station positioned between Earth and lunar orbit. Minister Krell arrived with a small delegation, noticeably lacking the military presence that had characterized previous encounters. Dr. Hayes, Krell greeted, extending his long fingers in the traditional Halaxian gesture of peaceful intent. I thank you for agreeing to these discussions. William returned the gesture. Minister Krell, Earth welcomes this opportunity for dialogue rather than conflict. Over the next several days, the negotiations progressed slowly but steadily. William carefully examined every proposed provision, watching for hidden clauses that might compromise Earth's sovereignty. Your proposal describes Earth as an autonomous region under Imperial protection, William noted during one session. This is unacceptable. Earth is fully independent, not autonomous. Krell made adjustments to the language. The Empire was learning that humans negotiated differently than the intimidated species they usually dealt with. News of these discussions spread across the galaxy. Representatives from other systems arrived to observe, many of them from worlds that had resisted Imperial influence but lacked Earth's defensive capabilities. If Earth succeeds in establishing true independence, an observer from Proxima Centauri commented, it creates a precedent for all of us. As the negotiations continued, something unexpected happened. Minister Krell began asking questions about Earth's governance systems, showing particular interest in the concept of democratic representation. Your leaders are chosen by the population, he asked William during a break in formal talks. And they can be removed if they fail to serve adequately. That's the foundation of our system, William explained. Authority comes from the consent of the governed. Krell's expression was unreadable, but he fell silent, contemplating this idea that was so foreign to Imperial thinking. By the final day of negotiations, both sides had moved far from their initial positions. The framework of an agreement emerged, one that would change not just Earth's relationship with the Empire, but potentially the Empire itself. The Grand Hall of the United Nations headquarters in New York City had never hosted such a diverse gathering. Representatives from Earth stood on one side, facing the Halaxian delegation across a long table. In orbit above, ships from a dozen star systems maintained position, witnesses to this historic moment. Emperor Zortac himself had traveled to Earth for the signing ceremony, the first time in Imperial history that an emperor had visited a non-subject world. His massive frame dominated the room as he approached the document displayed on the center table. The Sol Sovereignty Accord, President Caldwell announced, marks a new chapter in galactic relations. The terms of the treaty were unprecedented. The Empire formally recognized Earth's complete independence and the sovereignty of all Sol system territories. Imperial ships would request permission before entering Earth space. Trade agreements would be negotiated separately as equals. Most significantly, the Accord established Earth as the founding member of the Independent Systems Coalition, a new political entity that other sovereign worlds could join for mutual protection and cooperation. Zortac signed the document with a flourish of his ceremonial pen. "The Empire acknowledges Earth as a sovereign power," he stated, his voice carrying to all corners of the hall. "May our future relations bring prosperity to both our peoples." When the ceremony concluded, Dr. William Hayes approached Minister Krell, who had been instrumental in crafting the final agreement. "This is just the beginning," William said quietly. "Other worlds will follow Earth's example now." Krell nodded. "The Empire has existed for 10,000 years by adapting when necessary. Perhaps it is time for our greatest adaptation yet." Within weeks of the Accord signing, Earth began to transform from isolated defender to influential galactic player. Captain Linda Scott, decorated veteran of the Imperial conflicts, was selected to lead Earth's first official diplomatic mission to neighboring systems. The EDF Harmony, refitted as a diplomatic vessel, departed Earth orbit with representatives from science, culture, and government aboard. Their mission: establish direct relations with worlds that had watched Earth stand against the Empire with growing interest. "We're not just representing Earth anymore," Linda told her crew as they prepared for their first stop at Alpha Centauri. "We're offering an alternative to Imperial rule, a model of cooperation between independent worlds." At Alpha Centauri, they received a hero's welcome. 3 worlds that had maintained uneasy relations with the Empire eagerly signed agreements with Earth's delegation. "Your defense of sovereignty inspired us," the Centauri Prime Minister told Linda. "For too long, we accepted the Empire's dominance as inevitable." Similar welcomes awaited at each stop on their journey. Earth's technological innovations, particularly in defensive systems, became valuable trade commodities. Within months, a network of mutual defense agreements spread across the sector. Meanwhile, the Empire itself began to change. Minister Krell's influence grew as Emperor Zortac recognized the potential benefits of cooperation over conquest. Imperial citizens, learning of Earth's governance systems through new cultural exchanges, began questioning their own rigid hierarchies. On a dozen Imperial worlds, reform movements emerged, calling for representative councils and limits on Imperial authority. The changes were small at first: experimental local elections on outer worlds, citizen advisory boards in provincial capitals, but they marked the beginning of transformation. 1 year after the signing of the Accord, President Caldwell stood on the observation deck of Earth's new Galactic Relations Center, watching ships from 20 different systems dock at the orbital facility. Admiral Green joined her, gazing out at the bustling activity. "Did you ever imagine this when we first detected those Imperial scouts?" he asked. She smiled. "Not in detail, but I always believed Earth had something valuable to offer the galaxy beyond just our technology." "Freedom," Green said simply. "And the courage to defend it," she added. Below them, Earth continued its daily routines, its people going about their lives much as they always had. But their world had become something new in the cosmic order, not merely a planet that had successfully banned an empire from its borders, but a beacon that had begun to change the nature of that empire itself. As night fell across North America, the lights of cities twinkled like earthbound stars. Above them, vessels from across the galaxy orbited peacefully, no longer potential conquerors, but partners in a new galactic future that had begun with a simple, defiant message: entry forbidden.